Okay, well, why don't we get started with the presentation. And first, let me thank everybody for joining the conference today. I know your time is valuable, and we'll try to be very efficient and give you some good information in a short amount of time, plus some opportunity to ask some questions and a Q&A session at the end. We'll start. Okay. There we go. So I want to start off with talking about cloud computing opportunities. So what are the opportunities and how do we take advantage of them? So if you think about the world of cloud computing, it kind of ranges from the facilities, the data center, to cloud services, and more we're pushing things out to the edge with what's called the Internet of Things. So devices, mobile devices, remote applications, video, streaming video, security systems, even into automobiles and retail environments. So there's a huge opportunity across all areas of the spectrum. And where Cirrity fits is clearly in that center, in that cloud area there with disaster recovery, infrastructure, virtual desktops, and so on. And it's important to understand that the position that we've taken in the market is to provide all of that with a high level of security. And so we see security everywhere at the bottom there. That sort of underscores everything that gets done in the cloud has got to have that high security, and that's what your customers are asking for, and that's what you're going to want to deliver. And if you dig down a little bit into where those opportunities are, where we feel they are, we think about two major areas of opportunity. One is in what we call cloud-native applications. And these are applications that are built from the ground up to run in the cloud, and our infrastructure as a service and virtual desktop services certainly fit in with those types of applications. So we have plenty of folks that are deploying web servers and building web-based applications with SQL Server backends or Oracle backends, and really building those applications specifically to run as a cloud platform. And so there are certainly lots of new applications that people are building. However, where we feel a huge untapped market is in the traditional applications. And the reality of it is that 95%, if not more, of the technology in use today is traditional applications. So these are things that have been built over the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years before really the Internet was a platform. And things like, ERP systems, MRP systems, financial systems, things like even, something as simple as QuickBooks to applications like SAP and Great Plains Accounting, client-server applications. A lot of companies have built their own custom applications and things like CRM, email applications. So a whole slew of applications that these companies have today running on their own in-house platforms that they really feel a need and desire to take some of those and push those out into the cloud. And, companies like Gartner say, hey, there's a $300 billion opportunity over the next 5 to 10 years for companies to take advantage of selling these types of services. So what we're talking about is desktop as a service. We can provide virtual desktops that take the front end of those applications, and instead of running them on a local PC, on a local area network, we're able to run those applications on a server in our cloud data center, but provide that access to that application to a customer on almost any device. So from an iPad to a regular PC to a thin client, any of those devices will be able to access those applications running on that cloud platform. So we can take existing applications and push them to a Cirrity platform with all the security that they like and need to have, and resell that as a service into that market. So we think it's a huge market, and so we've developed specific solutions to capitalize on that. And if you look at the sorts of services that we are providing, infrastructure as a service is kind of the core that underlines almost everything. So that is taking our Cisco servers and high-performance back-end storage area networks, carving those up into virtual machines, and providing those to your customers as a service. And that's our infrastructure. On top of that, we've built the virtual desktops, which I talked about briefly, where we can take a desktop and run that on our infrastructure as a desktop, and then users can log in almost like a Citrix, but with a much better performance and better scalability than Citrix has with the technology that we're using in our data center, so people can get on to their applications and have their own custom desktop, each user, but access that really from anywhere over the internet. We also are providing disaster recovery as a service. So this is online backups where maybe customers aren't quite ready to move their infrastructure to the cloud, but they still want a cloud-based solution for things like backing up and disaster recovery. So backup is just taking the data and putting it someplace else. Disaster recovery goes a step further, which says, well, we've got your backup. We can actually load and run your environment in the data center, and so that eliminates the need for, say, hot sites or places where they can take their data and recover too. They can actually recover directly in the cloud, and we can do that in minutes instead of days or weeks. So it's a very nice solution for customers that have an on-premise solution and want to maybe put their toe into the water and check out what's available on the cloud. And again, the security is available throughout the entire product set. So that is basically assurance that their data is secure, that other people are not able to get to that data, that it is as safe as can possibly be. One of the advantages of working with Cirrity is that we're a participant in the Cisco Cloud Provider Program, which means that we're able to provide to our resellers a Cisco-powered cloud services, and that allows you to take advantage of all the things that Cisco has as part of their solution set, and I'll talk about that in a second. That's enabled because our platform is 100% powered by Cisco, so we've got Cisco switches, Cisco routers, Cisco servers, and so all of that is able to pass through to our customer base, and Cisco comes in and they actually audit us, and they have a very stringent list. It's not easy to become a Cisco-powered cloud provider because of their stringent requirements, and so we've passed all of those requirements with each of our services. So our disaster recovery, our desktop as a service, our infrastructure as a service, each one of those have been blessed by Cisco. So, the benefits for us is that we're able to get discounts from Cisco. We're able to have our badges, our Cisco-powered badge, and we can pass that on to our resellers. And for the resellers, okay, here's what you get as a result of us having those designations from Cisco, right? So first off, you're able to brand and use a Cisco-powered logo. The Cisco brand, as everybody knows, is one of the most powerful and well-recognized and respected brands in the industry today. And so the ability to provide to the customers that assertion that the infrastructure is Cisco-powered, is Cisco-blessed, is very, very powerful. We also have compensation programs for Cloud Compensation Program and Value Incentive Program, VIP, Cisco Rewards Program. So as a reseller, you actually get rebates from Cisco for selling Cirrity services. So Cisco will write you a check every quarter or once a year, or whatever, depending on the program, and those are rebate dollars that go directly to the bottom line. And it's really very simple, and we'll tell you how to do that right now. So basically, you need to be a Cisco registered partner. Requirements are relatively minimal or higher. So if you're a select or gold, certainly that works. And then you need a valid contract with a Cisco cloud provider. That would be Cirrity. And then basically you apply for the program, and once you're in, then you fill out quarterly statements or whatever your period is to get those rebates back, and Cirrity helps you 100% in getting all of that. So it's a very nice model, and we can help you navigate that whole relationship with Cisco. As for Cirrity itself, we may not be a household name yet, but we've been operating since 2008, our data centers. We rebranded as Cirrity in 2013, so a couple of years of actually having the Cirrity name. And we took the name Cirrity from two different words. One is Cirrus, which are among the highest clouds, so it's a very high level of service, and the other word was security. So Cirrus and security is Cirrity, and so we came out of the gate from day one using security and building that into our platform. So that's why we say it's the most secure platform that is available today. We're 100% channel-only partner, so that means that we never go direct. There's no channel conflict with us, and our success is really totally dependent on our partner success. So we're one of the best partners in providing leads and training and so on, and we'll get into that in a little bit. And we're able to create a highly scalable, stable, recurring revenue model for our partners. Cloud services are some of the best services from a revenue perspective that you can sell. It's very sticky revenue. It's recurring. You bill every month for it, and it's also very scalable. So to sell more, you just have to sign up more customers, and we take care of the rest. It's an enterprise class and highly secure infrastructure. As I said, three types of Cisco-powered services: infrastructure, desktops, and disaster recovery as a service. And we're using all the top technologies. Okay, so we're using VMware, we're using Cisco, we use Tintri, very high performance storage area networks. Our backup as a service is provided by Veeam and Zerto, StorageCraft. So we're using the top-of-the-line software and hardware systems to create our services. For infrastructure as a service, it's, as I said, 100% Cisco-powered. We're using the high-performance Cisco Blade servers. It's highly compliant. We've got certifications for security. I'll tell you about that. It's redundant. It's redundant at all levels. So it's redundant between the blades. It's redundant on the storage networks, and it's redundant. We have multiple data connections for multiple internet providers, and we have multiple data centers. So there's redundancy at every single layer, and we've had an amazing uptime record over the last 5 years, and it's also highly secure. So these are all things that when you go to market, customers care about, and it makes for a pretty easy sell when you get in front of people and can explain to them the advantages. Our pricing is very simple, unlike something like Amazon Web Services, where there are literally thousands of potential pricing combinations and options. We're priced per server per month based on how much RAM, disk storage, and the software licensing. So it's very, very simple to do business with us. Our disaster recovery is labeled vStream. We have different levels of disaster recovery services depending on really two factors. Factor one is how much, what's your time period of data that you're worried about potentially losing. So I'll give you an example. If you back up your systems once a day, then you're potentially could lose a day's worth of work. If you're backing up your systems every hour, then at most you'd lose an hour. If you're backing up your systems every 15 minutes and so on. So we can change that, recovery point to be really anything the customer wants. So you can back it up daily, you can back it up hourly. We can even do real-time backups of every disk write and stream that up to the data center using replication with a product called Zerto. And so very simple to set it up. We're a Veeam Cloud Connect partner, so we're able to take from the Veeam software itself. You can select Cirrity as a destination, get a contract with us, and boom, you're in business with your Veeam backups. Instead of going to a disk drive or a tape or whatever, you can send your Veeam backups right over the cloud to Cirrity. We also have different types of recovery options. So the recovery point is how much time in between your backups, and as I said, that could be instantaneous or it could be, hourly, however you want. And the other thing is how long does it take to recover? So we have a whole range of solutions from an appliance that we can put on site, which is our Revive set of products, to being able to spin up at the data center. So we can, if there's a disaster on the customer site, we can actually take their servers and run them at the data center. And that, depending on which option, that might take a day or it might take 15 minutes. So depending on how much, so there's plenty of opportunities to upsell customers in starting them at one level and then taking them to the next level and the next level. Finally, our secure CloudDesk is our virtual desktop as a service, or DAAS, DAS, and that is essentially allowing people to access their individual desktop. So it's like having your own personal desktop, but it's running on the cloud. So the desktop is all your applications. If you've got QuickBooks, Outlook, Microsoft Word, Excel, whatever, that's all running on our platform and is consistent. So it's very easy for IT departments now to manage that. So instead of going around to 50 different desktops and loading software on all those desktops, they load it once on our CloudDesk platform, and then users get into that from whatever device they want. So they could be working at home, they could be working at the office, they're working at a hotel. They get that same desktop with everything they need running. Our pricing actually includes the Microsoft SPLA licensing, so for the OS and the application. So no need to get a separate license for Office 365 or Word or Excel. We can provide all of that licensing with an easy per desktop per month price. So again, as I said, security is in our name. We have audits that are done, multiple audits every year. The ISO 27001 is a huge, it's an international standard for information security. We have the PCI, which is the payment card industry audit that we've got. So people are actually doing credit card type transactions on our network. We have a SOC 2 compliance report. It's our own compliance report, not the data center. A lot of companies will pass through their data centers, but they're not necessarily audited. So we're actually audited by CPAs for SOC 2 compliance. And also, of course, HIPAA, so for healthcare information, for financial services, banking transactions, et cetera, they're all certified to be able to run on our network. So we have all of those designations. So there's no question when you're out talking to a customer, we can provide whatever certifications are necessary to make that customer comfortable that the security is there. And, when you talk about what makes Cirrity different, obviously the security is there. Number two is channel only. There aren't that many cloud companies that will only sell through the channel, that will never sell behind your back or try to steal your customer from you. We don't do that. We can only sell through our partners. We have a great partner enablement program, so we have things like co-branded literature, training for our partners, lead generation, and so on. and our key vendor relationships and promotions. So we can do events with Cisco, with Tintry, with our different partners, VMware, and bring that branding to the table as well as our own branding. And that really means a lot to the end customer. So for the partner, we have a couple of different programs available. We have a white label pricing model for service providers. We have a discount to list pricing for resellers. So depending on how you go to market with it, we can provide the best margins possible. We have sales training, so it can be a little bit confusing selling the cloud services, and so we're able to bring our training guys on site. We have webinars like this to help people get familiar with the products and programs we have. So we're really involved heavily with our partners in getting them up to speed and getting them to the point of making money. The cloud compensation and Cisco rebates. So again, because we're Cisco powered, we're able to put more money back in your pocket directly from Cisco. Our lead generation program is fabulous. So we're do paid ad searches, and we have platforms for web-based marketing. So we're able to help our customers both prospect within their own customer base and to get new customers through our leads. And we have our own white label cloud engineering, which means that our sales engineers will actually get on the phone with your salespeople and help close deals and help architect things in real time. And when we'll do that under our partner's name, so they don't even need to know that it's Cirrity that's on the phone. So how do we take advantage of all these things? Well, we like to get people to revenue within 2 months, and obviously the first thing is to get a reseller agreement in place, and then we have training for both executive, sales and marketing, and technical folks within the organization. We help to develop a go-to-market plan. We have a complete assessment where we can help identify what are the needs of each specific reseller organization to get to market quickly. And then with our leads, incentives, promotions, and so on, we're out there really helping our customers, our resellers, kind of shake the trees and the branches and get as many new leads and get as much new business as possible. For sales reps, we regularly give out gift cards up to $2,000 additional funds for selling cloud services. Of course, we've got plenty of qualified leads, and we're actually qualifying these leads. We're not just throwing stuff over the fence. We're making sure that there's an imminent deal ready before we take up somebody's valuable time and talking to a prospective customer. So, we've got really great comments from our customers, some of whom you may have heard of. That Cirrity is a key strategic partner helping us drive double-digit sales growth. And so, the fact that we really understand the channel and the market is a huge driver for our partners. The fact that we're 100% channel only and that we have a great training program, these are some of the things that people are telling us that they love about Cirrity. Again, they love our team. They love working with the folks here. So, people are really raving about us, and once we get engaged, so we're very excited, about all the things that we're doing. Sort of an overview of our partner enablement program that I talked about, and Cirrity in general. So I think with that, just a few more slides about how do we now go to market and really take advantage and make money in the cloud, right? So, first off, start the cloud conversation. You want to get out, talk to, the CIO, CFO, talk about, reducing CapEx expenses and operational expenses, because we're able to, a company like Cirrity, we're focused on providing the highest level of cloud services with the highest level of security, and we're doing that literally for hundreds and hundreds of end-user organizations. But we have the resources and the knowledge of how to do this at scale that, your clients and the end customers just can't have that level of sophistication in how they're doing things. So we're able to do things very, very efficiently. We're able to spin things up quickly. We're able to scale quickly. So all these things about having agility, simplicity for the business, increasing employee productivity, focusing on the things that you do well and outsourcing things you don't do well. These are all good business drivers and things to talk about with prospective customers, right? For the technical buyers, right, we're able to accelerate the deployments. We have, obviously, the security in place. We can simplify the management, and we can let the technical guys worry less about the bits and bytes of running the data center, and more focus on providing business value to the organization through technology. And so these are good drivers. And so step one would be start the cloud conversation, exploring the customer pain points, right? So we talked about moving traditional applications to the cloud as a big pain point for people. Backup and DR for folks that aren't quite ready to move completely to the cloud. The backup is a very simple thing. It's very unobtrusive. It could be as easy as just taking an existing Veeam backup and pointing it to the cloud instead of pointing it to a local hard drive. And the new applications with CloudDesk. So the virtual desktop technology is really game changing, and it really allows people to gain flexibility and cost advantages over things that they've done before. So there are some great applications out there and some great pain points to exploit. And again, we think that the CIO, CFO level is a great place to sell, as well as the technical IT decision makers. And certainly it's important to, when you're talking to customers, to bring up the cloud proactively. Don't necessarily wait for them, because a lot of times, they might not be thinking quite the same way. And so to be able to bring that up and, use what's called the challenger sale and challenge their existing notions of how they are doing and what they're doing, and be able to get them to think more proactively about what's the future look like, as opposed to just doing the same old thing that they've always done. And if you go to Cirrity.com, in our customer reseller section, we've got a lot of good information on how to do that. So, the time to engage is now. Customers are buying cloud now. We're seeing more and more opportunities come through the door. And we think there's plenty of opportunities for upselling, as well as, refresh. So if a company's looking to replace a bunch of servers, maybe it's a good time to talk about, well, why don't we take some of these servers and move some of them to the cloud? And, I think we make it super easy for our partners to sell, and we certainly want you to be as successful as possible. So that's the end of my prepared presentation. I did it in a half an hour. I'm proud of myself, so thank you all for sticking with it. And I think now we can open it up to Q&A. If there's any questions, we're available. So, Crystal, can you enable that?
Hey, Steve. So I have unmuted everyone, and if you have any questions, just speak up, and Steve will answer your questions.
Hi, this is Alan. How would you position Cirrity against, say, a Citrix or a VMware solution?
Sure. So, first off, I think, for resellers, there's no competition, right? Because, Cirrity, we're 100% channel only, And so, the other solutions offer their services directly to the end customer. So for resellers, there certainly is not really any reason to look beyond a company like Cirrity for reselling, because number one, you're going to get better margins, and number two, you're going to be assured that that customer stays your customer and not somebody else's. And then on a more general level, I think there are lots of compelling reasons for Cirrity over kind of the hyperscale types of providers. I think the first thing is a completeness of the vision, right? So we're one of the few providers that can offer a whole range of backup services as well as the virtual desktops as well as a complete infrastructure as a service. So we're really built from the ground up to have a complete set of solutions, and so doing things like integrating different applications from different areas of the business is a lot easier. We're certainly a lot more flexible, and so we're able to do things that these hyperscale providers don't do. So, for example, we have some customers that need special equipment to actually be physically located in the data center, and we have that. So we're able to do things, specially for certain customers. For us, the customer is not a number or an email address. So we're very intimately involved with our resellers and with sometimes with their customers. So it's a much more personalized type of service that's available. And we're also selling with our customers, our resellers. So as opposed to a Citrix or a VMware, we're in the trenches with our resellers day and night. Again, because we're 100% channel, so we're not going to make any money unless our resellers are successful. And also, it's the only thing that we do. We're not a software company. We're not like a VMware. We don't have multiple distractions. We're 100% focused on purely the cloud and what we do, and I think we do it better than really anybody, or as good, if not better, than anybody that's out there. Other questions?
Hi, this is Josh. You mentioned that you guys do white label solution engineering with your reselling partners. How does that work, and how do you guys go about handling those conversations?
Sure. So how do we handle the white label, we call them subject matter expert, white label SME. So basically what we'll do is we'll let our customers queue up a conference call, and we'll participate in the call, and we'll just we'll act as a member of the team. And so, we'll be side by side with the salesperson. So the salesperson will bring us on. Sometimes they'll introduce us. So here's Patrick from Cirrity, or sometimes here's Patrick working with us. And so we're just kind of seamlessly involved in that conversation, and we're able to have that really highly technical conversation that sometimes the salespeople are not really able or equipped to handle some certain level of questions. So that's how it works, and it's very, very effective. We find that when our guys are involved, from early phase, we're able to close a much higher percentage of deals because they're very, very knowledgeable and very persuasive, and it creates a lot of confidence with the customer that that the reseller knows what they're doing. So it's really a great way of handling those types of things.
Nice, cool.
Other questions?
Steve, in your experience in working with resellers, what have you seen have been some of the things that have caused resellers not to be able to capitalize on the cloud opportunity? And what could they do to really take advantage of the things that you talked about?
So the question is, what are the things that inhibit resellers from being successful, and how can we address those? So that's a great question. And one of the things that we do on the front end when we sign up a reseller is we actually have what we call our cloud readiness assessment. And this is a set of questions and a protocol that we go through, and we understand different aspects of the reseller's business. And so some of the things that are included in that assessment are things like, for example, is there a sales compensation plan? So this is a really critical thing, because if folks are going to sell a product or a service, they have to know how are they going to get compensated for it, right? How are they going to get their commissions? And so if there's not a well-understood, formalized plan for that, then that's certainly an inhibitor for folks to go out and sell cloud services. So, that's one thing that we think is really critical. Another issue that comes up sometimes is billing and having the right model for being able to bill for recurring services. So, a lot of resellers are already set up to do that. They understand how to send out a bill every month and how to account for it. Others maybe not. So we help customers understand how to set up that billing model, how to set up the proper accounting so it goes into the system properly, and that they're able to bill, invoice, and get paid for those services that they're delivering. Another thing that we've seen with resellers is that you need to have a champion. You need to have somebody internally who is waving the flag for cloud services, especially if it's something that they haven't sold before. So we help identify the person within the organization who can be that cloud champion, who has responsibility and authority for making those cloud sales happen. And so that's obviously a critical thing, is somebody that's actually responsible for driving that internally, because sometimes it requires a change of thought and a change of behavior. And so it's really helpful if there's somebody internally that can help drive that. And then finally is obviously the knowledge of what the cloud can do and how to have those conversations with, as we said, the business owners, the C-level execs, as well as the IT folks, and to be able to understand what are the use cases for cloud services. How do I present those? How do I uncover those pain points? And so we do extensive training with our resellers to make sure that the salespeople and sales management are able to articulate those things and have those conversations. So again, that lack of knowledge is certainly something that stops companies from being successful. So these are a few of the things. And again, if you go through our cloud assessment, it sort of points out what are those areas where we need to focus on in order to be successful. And then one of the things that we do as part of our engagement is to help you create that plan for how do I remediate these areas where I may not be at 100% and necessarily ready to make those sales. So those are a few of the things.
Thank you.
Other questions? Okay. Well, Crystal, I don't know if you had anything else to add. Let me just thank you all for being on the call. I hope it was useful and productive. The questions were great. So thank you to everyone who participated in the call.